welcome you in this session. Department of Agriculture has launched a service for the farmers and for the stakeholders including students to analyze and to give you the knowledge about the agriculture activities, different principles of agriculture and all the things which are related to agriculture. Today, the topic we have selected is our earth. And as you know, earth is the sustainer of this whole universe. And we have the responsibilities to save it as our earth is ailing because the human interference we are facing in the earth and the average productivity of the soil is declining. So, this topic is a fundamental topic for the students as well as farmers and other stakeholders who are interested in agriculture profession, and we have tried to give our best to make them understand, to comprehend the basic things about this earth. As you know, earth is nature's great gift to mankind, and it is considered as third planet from sun in our solar system. It nurtures and supports life because it has two very important things that living creatures need to survive, that is oxygen and water. These two things are the basic requirements for the living things to live, and this Mother Earth provides both these things compared to another planets in the solar system. Also, it rears all mountains, forests, water bodies, organisms and organisms in its sweet lap, which promises them to care without human interference. So, this is the fundamental natural resource that this universe is getting once man came into existence along with other living things. And as you know, our soil has different functions, and among them the major functions are that it is a medium of plant growth. Yeah, we cannot grow anything, any crop in this universe until we should not have a proper medium, a medium which gives all the nutrients, which provides moisture, which provides aeration to the roots and crops, and this natural medium is suited for our crops. So, this is being provided by our soil, and also it is a means of water storage, supply and purification. Our earth holds gallons of water that we will explain you in the next lecture, which is being supplied and purified in a natural way, filtered for our drinking purpose, for clothes, for irrigation, for everything else. So, this is a big reservoir for storing the moisture which we are getting through precipitation or whatever will be the groundwater resources. The soil has the capacity to take them into. And the third thing is that as a modifier of Earth's atmosphere, we are having different types of climates, different types of weathers on this universe, and this whole atmosphere is being modified by different types of these from different areas by this earth, which is definitely having an impact on overall living organisms. Not only that, earth is living thing, although it is ailing nowadays, but it also habitats many organisms. If we will take 1 tablespoonful of earth, and in that 1 tablespoon we can have the number of microbes as much as is the total population of this universe. This you can understand what is the importance of this earth. And so far as the texture of the soil is concerned, it is determined by the relative proportions of the individual particles like sand, silt and clay that make up the soil. The interaction of the individual mineral particles with organic matter, water, gases via biotic and abiotic processes causes those particles to flocculate. That means they get stuck together to form an aggregate or the page, where these aggregates can be identified as soil can be said to be developed and can be described further in terms of color, porosity, consistency, reactions, whether it is acidic, whether it is alkaline and other things. So, dear friends, as we have touched different things, and you know that what I have mentioned just now, that this is a source of purifying the water, and this water is a critical agent in soil development due to its involvement in the dissolution, precipitation, erosion, transport and deposition of materials of which a soil is composed. In simple instance, I can make you understand that once you are adding some inputs in terms of farmyard manure, in terms of fertilizers, in terms of other things, nano fertilizers, this cannot go directly into the plant system until it will not get dissolved or precipitated, or it is not translocated from roots to shoots through soil solution. So, here this has a very important function, that without this water in the soil for the plants, for the agricultural activities, nothing is possible. We cannot get anything out of the inputs we will add to this soil until there will not be moisture. And as you know, whenever there are rains, sufficient rains, once our soil is in a good condition, that means the porosity of the soil is in good number, you can easily, this rainwater can be absorbed through these pores and it will add the groundwater, it will add to groundwater surface of the soil, and that will be utilized by our plants for different activities. And this mixture of water and dissolved or suspended materials that occupy the soil pore space is called the soil solution, as I have already told you. Since soil water is never pure water, but contains hundreds of dissolved organic and mineral substances, it may be more accurately called the soil solution. But the aim of today's lecture is that our soils presently are ailing because of different things, as God has given many things to this soil for the sustenance of this universe, and among those things, this is a hub of very good nutrients. Our soil is a great reservoir of moisture, as I have indicated just now, and besides that, many more microorganisms are within the soil profile to assist, to help the crop production in this universe. But due to the excessive use of fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, and due to the excessive use of plant protection measures like pesticides, insecticides, and due to the great greed of human beings, this soil is ailing, and it has started to turn up now the condition on which we were sustaining. That means we were getting a better crop production out of these natural resources. But once we have played with this natural resource by our own intentions, by our own greediness, by not having the knowledge about this soil that it also needs care, so there is need to save this earth, to save it from excessive chemical fertilizers, to save it from dryness, as you are seeing, observing in this slide, to save it by inoculating the artificial microorganisms, although lot of microorganisms are there. And I will quote one example. If a farmer was sometimes getting injured in his field, the first aid there with the farmer was only one thing, that he was putting some soil on the wound, and the wound was getting coagulated, because that soil was having so many beneficial microorganisms that were coagulating the blood, and the farmer was getting healed at that time. So, this was the power of this soil, but it has not remained now like that. So, coming again to the topic, as you know, the composition of soil is very interesting. Superficially, when you see, when you observe the soil, you are thinking that this is in good condition, and it is soil, only soil for constructing your these buildings, for raising your crops, or for raising your orchards. But what is within the soil? What is the composition of the soil? That needs to be knowledge, and I will mention that in this slide, that what the soil actually contains. So, dear friends, a typical soil is about 50% solids, whether it is sand, whether it is silt, whether it is clay, whether minerals or organic matter is there. Total, out of the total this soil profile or soil sample, you have 50% of solids, and out of these 50% solids, 45% mineral and 5% organic matter is there. Organic matter means whatever the things we are getting out of crop residue, whatever the things we are getting out of the agriculture, or any biological animal or microorganism or bacteria or anything else, whatever we add biologically to the soil that consists of leaves, trash, stubbles, whatever it is, that adds to the organic matter. And out of this total 50% solids, 45% are minerals in terms of nitrogen, hydrogen, in terms of nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, sulfur, zinc, iron, many things, and still the research is going on that may be possible that till now 16 elements are considered very important for this crop production out of this mineral matter, but the research is going on that there may be many more which are untapped yet, and the research is coming. Silicon is added and many other things are there. So, this hub of mineral matter is present in the soil, and out of the total solids in the soil, which goes up to the extent of 50%, 45%, again I am repeating it, is mineral matter and 5% is organic matter, and rest 50% consists of voids or pores, सुराख होते हैं इसमें, जैसे इंसानों में रगें होती हैं, ऐसे हमारी ज़मीन में भी रगें होती हैं, वेन्स होती हैं, जिनको हम टेक्निकली पोर्स बोलते हैं। तो ये पोर्स जो हैं 50% मिनरल, 50% ऑर्गेनिक मैटर एंड the rest 50% is composed of these pores, ये सुराख जो होते हैं इसमें, and in this 50% two things are there in these pores in रगों में, either it is water or it is air, half of portion water and half of the portion of air lies within these soil pores, and this pore space allows for infiltration and movement of air and water, both of which are critical for existing in the soil. I will again quote one more example. You know your human body, the physiology of the human body, the circulation is not possible until there will not be sufficient amount of water in your body, until there will not be sufficient amount of oxygen in the human body. Same is the case in soil. The 50% pores which are fully having 50% oxygen and 50% this water, this recirculates, and if there is some sort of inconvenience in these pore spaces, or if these pores will be plugged by the human activities or by the excessive use of fertilizers, what will happen? Whatever will be the precipitation, whatever will be the rainfall, there will be surface flow and there will be floods, because our soil will not be having the capacity to absorb this rainwater. And secondly, the result will be that the groundwater level will go down, and once the groundwater level will go down, it will definitely affect the human life, it will definitely affect the agricultural activities, as you are witnessing in Punjab, Haryana and other states of this country. The groundwater level, what was 20 years or 10 years before, when we were trying to dig a well, to get water for drinking purpose or for agriculture purposes, the water was coming out of few feet. But if the same process will be repeated this time, and you know that there is a reversal case. Now, the water will not come out of these some feet, but we have to dig more to go into the deeper level of the soil to get that water. This is the impact of this. Because as you know, once you find compaction, rigidness, जब ज़मीन सख्त होती है, the labor cost increases, the energy cost increases. If I will again quote one more example, if some years before, 10, 20 years before, if the capacity of the person was to work in his field or to dig his field, say 1 canal. But if this time you will compare the activity of that labor, he cannot dig to that extent, because the reason is that there is compactness. The soil has become rigid, and the working capacity of the laborers or the working capacity of the implements, whether it is tractor, whether it is some hand implement, whatever you are utilizing in your this field, so that gets affected because of this compaction. And the third thing which comes out of this compaction is that once the roots penetrate into the soil, they absorb things, they absorb the nutrients, they absorb the water, and the pushing force for the roots to go into the deeper level is very less required if the soil will be friable. But oppositely, if soil will be compact, definitely your root system will be very weak, and your productivity or the production of the particular crop, that will also be affected, because the roots will not get proper oxygen, the roots will not get proper environment to feed into the soil, or the roots cannot go deeper into the different layers of the soil to take the nutrients out of that. So, this compaction is a common problem with soils that is being resulted by the reduced pore space within the soil. जब ये रगें ही बंद हुई, जब कोलेस्ट्रॉल हमारे रगों में चढ़ता है, तो हमारी रगें जो हैं, हमारे जो वेन्स हैं, आर्टरीज हैं, ये जब मोटापापन इनमें आता है ड्यू टू कोलेस्ट्रॉल, तो that leads to blood pressure, because blood is not pumping properly. Heart has to take lot of this energy, and heart has to work very strongly to pump blood into the human vessels. Same is the case here. Once there is compaction, soil pores are plugged, and they this air and movement of water within the soil is restricted, and that has restricted the plant roots to develop. And not only that, but the millions of microorganisms present in the soil naturally, they get affected or they get killed, which has resulted that there are so many companies throughout the world who are manufacturing the microorganisms now artificially, and we are trying to inject them or spray those microorganisms into our fields to compensate the loss of the natural microorganisms what we have lost so far. So, my dear friends, as you know, the water surfaces on the soil or on the surface of the soil, whether those are rivers, whether those are oceans, whether those are ditches or any other water bodies, they are also being shrinked. So, what is the need? I will give some fundamental things for that these mountains, big splendid mountains are there on the earth, which it is holding. Our continents, our oceans, our rivers, whatever it is, our earth is holding. All our agricultural crops are in this, whatever we are growing for filling our belly, whether fruits, whether vegetables, whether cereals, whether pulses or anything else, this provides us the chance to survive and to sustain. And so far as the importance of this soil is concerned, as you know, 1 inch of soil, for formation of 1 inch of soil, it takes 500 years. Naturally, it takes 500 years to form 1 inch of soil. Now think what a big miracle the soil is, and it is not in the power of the human beings that they can create or they can form 1 inch of soil. How much is the importance of this soil? It is beyond our reach. So we have to take care of this. We have to think about the sustainability of the production. We have to think about the sustainable management of these natural resources what Almighty has given to us, rather bestowed to us, so that if you have enjoyed good water for drinking, if you have enjoyed good water for your this agriculture production or other things, but you have to think about your future generation, whether they will get it or not. And there are predictions by different scientists at this time that by 2025, we will be having a lot of water scarcity, and the water will be the most highly valuable input that time for human activities and for industrial activities and for the agricultural activities. And as you know, 5,000 different types of microorganisms, rather bacteria, are lying within our soil. So those are being bestowed to this soil by Almighty for making and breaking those nutrients which are there within the soil, or whatever the nutrients we add to the soil in the form of fertilizers, in the form of farmyard manure, in the form of vermicompost, in the form of green manuring. So all these fertilizers or manures, until they will not be in the available form for the plants, it is not possible for our plants to take these nutrients in a sufficient way, and that is only possible when we will take care of our soils. And not only this, 0.01% of the total water in this universe lies in the soil, and it has the capacity to take, to hold and to utilize this soil, this water into the soil. And not only that, whatever I have indicated or hinted, that the total population, people are that this time making a hue and cry that there is population, there is environmental change, there is this change, climatic change. Do you know that how much carbon dioxide is being consumed, rather stored by our soil to make our environment free? So my request to you, to all the listeners, to all the watchers of this program, that you should take care of this natural resource, that is soil, on which our life is sustaining, by restricting to the natural process and not interfering into the natural process. Take crop rotations. Similarly, you go for green manuring, add these natural fertilizers like farmyard manure, cow dung, other things, don't waste it, and whatever will be the agriculture wastes, you utilize it properly in the form of vermicompost or other things. Then you need not to inject artificially the other things to the soil, and I wish that this soil may sustain us for the longer time, provided we will have the indication what I have indicated what is going on. We will prove better human beings for sustenance of this human life. Thank you very much.